Hello everyone, I am Sammy, your devoted manga otaku, and welcome to my manga space. I started this booktube channel to discuss everything manga, but then it occurred to me, what if somebody stumbled on my channel and didn't know what manga was, or what if I use manga jargon, and you have no idea what I'm talking about? So I thought, why not make a video defining manga and its basic terminology? Also, understanding these terms can help when chatting with manga and anime communities, or when searching for a particular flavor of manga. I admit that while I was conducting research for this video, I learned some things, and I consider myself a seasoned manga reader, so whether you're a manga newbie or an avid reader, you might have something to learn. Okay friends, time to grab a coffee or other beverage of your choice, and let's talk manga. Before I jump in, I should define the term otaku because it's part of my intro. Otaku is a term used to describe people who have a healthy obsession with anime, manga, cosplay, or even video games. Honestly, if you're passionate about anything, you could be an otaku. Okay, back to our regular program. Manga are comic books and graphic novels originally developed and published in Japan. Instead of authors, the people who write and illustrate manga are called mangaka. When addressing mangaka, you can use the Japanese honorific sensei. For example, I would address renowned mangaka Rumiko Takahashi as Takahashi Sensei. Sensei is used to show respect to someone who has achieved a certain level of mastery or knowledge in a skill or profession. Manga is typically printed in black and white and often conforms to a specific Japanese art style. Nevertheless, all mangaka add their own aesthetics and flair to their visuals. Unlike English literature, manga is read from back to front and left to right. And this might look confusing at first, especially if you've never seen a manga before. But trust me when I say that it's super easy to get into, especially if you're reading a well-written manga. The panels and dialogue should just catch your eye in such a way and you just flow through the page. What is this? Normally in Japan, manga chapters are released in magazines monthly or weekly, and if the series gains enough popularity, these chapters are condensed and published into volumes. Some of the most famous manga was once published in these magazines, such as Naruto, Bleach, and Hunter x Hunter. Similarly, some manga debuts digitally, and if it's done well, it's later published in print. Sometimes manga are published in an omnibus format, which means that multiple volumes are published in one larger book. For example, this is an omnibus volume of Maid-sama by Hiro Fujiwara, and as you can see, it's a thick boy. Usually omnibus volumes are reserved for older manga that is being reprinted or a manga that has a few volumes in the series. The length of a manga series varies from series to series, but it's usually lengthier than your average Western style comic because manga storylines frequently move at a slower pace. This pace allows mangaka to linger over specific events or details in their stories to create mood, stress a plot point, or highlight particular actions and emotions. In conclusion, manga often features complex, multi-layered storytelling, long-running plots, and in-depth characters. The difference between manga and anime is fairly straightforward. Anime is animation and manga is printed. In most cases, popular manga are adapted into anime series or films, and some even become live-action programs. For example, the manga Boys Over Flowers has inspired many adaptations in multiple countries, including an anime, a film, several live-action television series, and musicals. This in particular is the Korean TV drama series, Boys Over Flowers. This is one of my favorite things ever. I watch it at least once a year. So good. This section of the video is where we will discuss the most common terms you may come across in the manga world. Manga is categorized by audience first, genre second. Manga can be of any genre: action, adventure, comedy, drama, horror, romance, sports, slice of life, etc. However, it is categorized even further depending on the target audience's gender and age. There are 5 main targeted demographics of manga, and most manga falls into one of these groups: Shounen, Shojo, Seinen, Josei, and Kodomo. I'll also be touching on a couple more terms at the end of this video that I classify as honorable mentions and are definitely worth a discussion in my opinion. Okay, so before I dive into the specifics of each demographic, I want to stress that manga is for everyone. And although manga has certain audiences it is aimed towards, it's all just marketing, and that doesn't mean that it's privy to the members of that audience. There are no guidelines you have to follow. It all depends on your personal taste and what you enjoy reading. The first demographic we're going to cover from the main 5 is Shounen, and is one of the most popular and successful forms of manga. Even if you don't know much about manga, you've probably heard at least one of these titles: Dragon Ball, Fullmetal Alchemist, One Piece, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The list goes on. Shounen manga is geared towards preteen to teenage boys and embraces many genres, including mecha or Gundam, which are giant robots piloted by humans, action, sports, fantasy, adventure, and comedy. While there are exceptions, Shounen often features heroic action-adventure stories following a young male protagonist. Additionally, the hero is usually accompanied by a group of friends or teammates that follow and help the lead on a journey to reach their goals. While these themes are staples for Shounen, there are titles that diverge from the normal tropes. A Silent Voice, for example, follows a boy and his experiences with bullying, and Promised Neverland features a young girl as the central character. The manga counterpart to Shounen is called Shojo, and the demographic for Shoujo manga is preteen to teenage girls, and it covers a wide variety of genres including romance, magical girls, slice of life, horror, fantasy, and science fiction. I grew up on shoujo anime adapted from manga with titles like Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Fruits Basket, and Ouran High School Host Club. Shoujo tends to center on young female leads and largely focuses on platonic and romantic relationships, emotions, and personal growth. Many shoujo are innocent and cute narratives. However, shoujo has a darker side as well. For example, Nana addresses various issues such as drug abuse, heartbreak, and sexual relationships, while Tokyo Mew Mew follows a 12-year-old preteen that can transform into a powerful cat girl who fights aliens. And both of these titles are considered shoujo manga. Oh shit, God. Next up is Seinen manga, which is targeted towards young adult males. Seinen is different from Shounen in that it has an overall murkier tone and features more mature content, including foul language and graphic violence. Seinen also contains a wide variety of subject matter, including politics, science fiction, fantasy, action, comedy, sports, and relationships. Seinen can also include sex and nudity, however, this content is not the main focus of the manga itself. Some examples of famous seinen manga are Berserk, The Way of the House Husband, One Punch Man, and Mushishi. Following seinen manga is the female demographic equivalent, Josei manga, which is aimed at older teens and adult women. Paradise Kiss, Honey and Clover, and Princess Jellyfish are some great examples of popular josei. The storytelling in josei manga is more erotic and grown up when compared to shoujo, and often illustrate slice of life stories with realistic emotional relationships. Furthermore, it's not unusual for Josei to touch on gloomier, more sensitive subjects such as rape, infidelity, and drug or alcohol abuse. I love to read Josei manga, and some of my favorite manga are Josei, Tramps Like Us, Everyone's Getting Married, and Wotaku, Love is Hard for an Otaku. Kodomo manga is targeted towards young children and covers simple themes with moral messages often integrated into the story. These children's stories often put an emphasis on friendship and family and have storylines that are non-episodic. Some examples of Kodomo manga include Hello Kitty, Digimon, and Hamtaro. I think it's worth noting that some Kodomo manga has advanced to the next level. For example, Pokemon started off as Kodomo, but is now largely regarded as Shounen. Now that we've gone over the standard demographic types of manga, it's time to dive a little deeper. First up, we're going to talk about boys love manga, which is abbreviated to BL and is an umbrella term to describe homoromantic and homoerotic relationships between male characters. The term yaoi, which is a subgenre of BL manga, as a rule, almost always features sexual explicit material between men and is primarily created by female mangaka for a female audience. Bara is the phrase used when referring to manga that focuses on male same-sex love, but is mainly created by a gay mangaka for a gay male audience. Girls Love, which is shortened to GL, is the counterpart to BL, and it encompasses manga that involves lesbian relationships and homoeroticism between female characters. The term yuri is a subgenre of GL and is sometimes categorized as the female equivalent to yaoi. However, there are distinctions between them. Yuri differs from yaoi in that the sexy material varies from story to story. For example, you could have a yuri manga that contains graphic nudity and sex, and then alternatively have a narrative that strictly focuses on the emotional and romantic aspects of a relationship without any sexual connotations. And both of these manga would still fall into the yuri category. And last on the list of honorable mentions is hentai. Hentai differs from yaoi and yuri in that those mediums include what's called softcore illustrations, where the sexual graphic scenes are blurred or censored. Typically, hentai is hardcore, meaning there is little to no censorship of the highly exaggerated and erotic visuals. Additionally, hentai is known for pushing the boundaries when it comes to pornography, and it features fetishes and fantasies that are impossible to recreate or perform in real life. And that's kind of cool. And that, friends, is a beginner's guide to manga. Whether you're an amateur or an otaku, I hope these explanations helped. If you're interested in watching more videos from me, you can check out my end card where I'll have links to my most recent videos. I hope you all have a manga-nificent day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!